All right, hey, welcome back to the Exciter Show. A very tired Chris, which is me, and Joe.
Hello.
So, yeah, you're not going to probably see as much wild energy as you have in other days, but that's okay.
We're not likely to get fired up tonight.
Right, or say anything too crazy. Yeah, it's been a long week, but we're here and we're plowing through. Paul is expected to join us sometime tonight. Well, we'll have to see when that is. But Joe wanted to talk some streaming services. There's a couple stories I was intrigued in. HBO and Discovery Plus. Warner, their parent company, combined forces, so they're combining some of their lower companies together. And probably sometime in 2023, they're saying you're going to see one complete HBO Plus and one complete Discovery Plus. It might take on the name of Discovery Plus, but both services will be together. Right now, HBO costs anywhere between 10 and $15 a month, depending on if you want ads or not want ads. Discovery Plus costs about $5 a month. I think it's 7 if you don't have ads. No one has said for sure how much the combined service would cost. Are they going to make it like $15, or they could charge up to 20? But it's going to be a massive streaming service. Obviously, HBO has HBO stuff, but they also have a bunch of sitcoms there. For a while, they were offering new run movies, about 20 of them a year. But Joe, I heard they're going to stop doing that starting
Yeah.
next year.
I mean, I can't imagine that did any good things for their actual box office numbers.
Right, and also too, that came during the midst of COVID, where the theaters were either closed or people were discouraged from going there. So it probably served its purpose during that time of history, I guess. Discovery is interesting. You get a bunch of different stuff on that from like Discovery programs, so what not HBO, HGTV or History Channel or stuff like that. Do you have HBO or Discovery Plus?
I have HBO.
Were you
HBO
in
Max.
favor?
I use it a fair amount. It has a couple of series that I am I occasionally like to just let play, and I let it run on my computer or TV in the background or something like that. They have several series that are written by Aaron Sorkin, so The West Wing and The Newsroom are shows that I just like to have
Oh,
on in the
okay.
background, like background music. So I use those a lot, and I like a couple of the other series that they've put on there recently. Not all of them, but a number of them. And then I find like their the movies they have on their service are usually a pretty good selection. So
Okay. Yeah, and like I said, they're going to stop doing the first run movies. Um, but I mean, you still got pretty newer movies, right? I mean, it's not.
yeah,
Yeah, they've got a good choice after that's done. Discovery Plus, my wife had. We're in the process of getting rid of it, but she likes it. But she's into the 90 Day Fiancés, all that other stuff, and
yeah,
they just dump. I mean, they have like 50 versions of 90 Day Fiancé. So if you're down with that, you're down. I think Paul's wife would love it because Paul keeps telling how she loves the Pimple Popper show and all this other stuff. So there's all kinds of. It'll be interesting to see those combined together because they're like two different type of things. I mean, you got Game of Thrones on one side, and you got
sure.
the Pimple Popper one on the other. I wonder how much would that be? I mean, obviously, we wish it was a buck where we could get it, but since they're combining that together, you think they can get away with like $15? Because there's not many services that are over $15 right now. You don't want to overcharge for a
Right.
service, even if there's a lot of stuff that's coming in it.
It'll have to it'll depend on what the price points are for a lot of other things once this actually happens. Because obviously it's a lot of strong content, so you're definitely getting a lot for your money, but there's really a limit to how many things you can watch at one time.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, Joe. Tell me what you think about this. I made a choice. I was streaming guy. Hey, I got all these different streaming services. My A friend of I we're joining forces for a YouTube TV account. So we've had this for about a week now, Joe. And yeah, I don't. You don't have some of the extra series that you were talking about and everything. But if you don't have to have an extra service, or if you're okay without it, I'll tell you, I've liked it so far. It's got a great app. You can watch stuff on your phone a lot. It doesn't like what do you call it, buffer or anything. I mean, it keeps the stream is really good. But two, I like putting stuff on the background. Maybe not shows like the newsroom, but like old Frasier's, old Two and a Half Men's, old
Oh yeah.
stuff like that. And the great thing about it is YouTube TV doesn't have the rights for all these shows. But I'll give you a secret, Joe. I am DVRing everything, and once you start DVRing everything, the whole series pops in because you know how cable does it. Like they'll play Frasier, they'll play like the whole series on a weekend or something like that.
Yeah.
And the other great thing about it is YouTube TV, unlimited DVR, and you get to keep the episodes for 9 months. So in a way, in your library, you built a streaming library of just recording shows. It's kind of neat. So
Well, there you go.
yeah, it's worked for me. Yeah, I want to be able to watch the games again. Like when you don't have streaming, you're kind of stuck when it comes to the NFL and stuff. We talked the other week about NFL Plus, this new streaming thing they're having, but there's all these stipulations like, oh, you can't watch it on TV. You have to watch it on your phone and all this other stuff. I'm like, screw that. I want the games available to me. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It should be good. Um, yeah. Well, where do you watch your NFL? Like with your streaming services? Do you just use antenna or?
No, I still actually have cable as
Oh,
well.
okay. So you
Yeah.
get the local channels and everything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And with you in Mississippi, you said like what the Saints are your local Fox. Like you'll see a lot of
Yeah.
Saints games on there.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, what do you do with the AFC? Is it the Titans or they just pick a random game each week?
Well, I think they often will just give us a random game
Okay, whatever game they feel.
because there's not anything that's really AFC that's really that near us
Right.
other than the Titans, which is still 6 hours away. So
Columbus is always interesting because it's halfway in between Cleveland and Cincinnati. They usually pick whoever they feel is the better team. Last year they thought the Browns were going to be better, so they gave you a lot of Browns games. I'm anticipating this year maybe them putting a lot more Bengals on, maybe since the Bengals were in the Super Bowl. But the other weird thing, Joe, is it's only 3 hours away from Pittsburgh and 3 hours away from Indianapolis. So sometimes the Browns and Bengals both stink. They're like, screw it, we'll show Steelers the rest of the year. I'm like, yeah, this is great. So it's kind of nice being in that halfway point where you're not immediately close to anybody. NFC, I don't know how the Fox channel picks games. You get random like Bears games at 1 o'clock or Lions games is there in the NFC North, but I'm not sure why. Like I don't know what their thinking is. I can't believe there's a lot of Bears fans in Columbus, but maybe there is.
I feel like for a place like Columbus with the NFC or a place like Jackson with the AFC, I feel like there's an amount of distribution of the games that are televised, so that they'll play that game where it's in a place where it's important to the people. So
Right.
say there's a game that's what Seattle versus San Francisco, and then they'll throw that game into Jackson just because they have a quota.
Yeah.
How many eyeballs they're supposed to put them in front of with their NFL, uh, broadcast deals. So I feel like sometimes it gets distributed a little bit randomly just because they're trying to cover some minimum in a contract somewhere.
Well, Ohio State's got the starting quarterback for the Bears is from Ohio State, so maybe you'll see more Bears games this year. But Justin Fields is entering his second year. Who knows?
Yeah, like they've recognized that there's a lot of interest in Dak Prescott from Mississippi
Yeah.
because he was at State. So we'll get probably more than our fair share of Dallas games just because there's some assumed connection there.
I get about. I mean, it depends on how often they're on national TV. I could probably get maybe 6 to 8 Steelers games a year on regular TV. Like you don't have to buy a service or Sunday ticket. I think we talked about this in the past. You get what, maybe 3 or 4 a year, probably
I
just
don't
based
know. I
on
think it's a
national
couple
TV.
more than that. I'm not really sure.
Okay. Yeah, it all depends on. Well, the bad thing is if the Steelers are up against the Browns or Bengals at the same time, usually the Browns and Bengals win. But if the Steelers play at 4, we usually get the Steelers game. Now, I'll tell you, this is going to be a fight, Joe. If you're think about this, if you're in Columbus, week 1, both games are 1 p.m. games. Which games do you show? You've got the Browns going to Carolina. It'll be Baker Mayfield up against his former team, or the Steelers going to the Bengals. That's going to be a hard choice for the local station what game to play. They're
I
both at
feel
the
like
same time.
I feel like Pittsburgh Cincinnati is the winner there.
And it probably will be because the Columbus station has done a good job. But there's enough Steeler fans down here that if the Steelers play the Browns or the Steelers play the Bengals, they usually defer to that particular game. So, again, it all depends on which team's good and which team's bad. So, hard to say. So, all right. I got sidetracked talking about that. Yeah. So what were we talking about?
We were talking this about HBO Max and Discovery, and then we
Oh yeah,
also
yeah.
had the other article.
Yeah. Well, before we get there, I would say probably $15 would be the price point that they would kind of debut people into. Maybe it'll be $15 for the ad model. Maybe a little bit more for the no ad model. Um, I think live sports is going to be big, Joe. Next year, streaming. You can buy Sunday ticket on streaming. It'll be, already ESPN Plus is looking at it. Amazon's looking at Apple TV. That's really going to make a difference when it comes to live sports. But the other thing I thought was interesting. Do you know much about Walmart Plus?
I know nothing about Walmart Plus.
All right. Well, my family does a lot of shopping at Walmart Plus. When we first heard about this, I'm like, holy crap! I think we're getting Walmart Plus. We're Amazon customers too, but Walmart Plus says if you subscribe to their service, it's like $12.95 a month. They'll deliver food to your door. Like you can make those, you can place your orders instead of picking up in the parking lot. They'll deliver to your house. There's also gas discounts, sales. There's also more shipping discounts, all the other stuff. I think all the shipping's free if you do the Walmart Plus. Here's the only catch though: you still got to tip the driver. So if you get your groceries delivered to you 3-4 times a month, it's going to be what, $50 once you tip your driver each time. So that's got to be tough. Well, the thing that Walmart Plus is struggling with is they have no video. So right now, like Amazon Prime, you get discounts if you're an Amazon Prime member. But what Amazon tries to do is say, hey, if you're not buying stuff off us, here's Amazon Prime Video you get with it. So you can watch some movies or shows or whatever the case might be. So Walmart Plus is trying to add some video services to make it more appealing for you to buy the Walmart Plus membership. They're thinking about adding like Paramount Plus and 1 or 2 other services, so you have stuff that you can watch at the same time. Is there any video that Walmart could provide that would make you want to buy Walmart Plus?
I don't think that's a tipping point thing for me.
Right. Well, here's the hard thing. Unless they're like, all right, you get to watch first run movies, or unless you get to watch Sunday Ticket. What? So you can watch 25 more old movies? Is that going to make you more interested in Walmart Plus?
Yeah, because whether or not you already have it, yeah, I don't see why that would be a deal breaker thing. I'm not gonna get it unless there's also video streaming. Like
Yeah.
that's not the prime value of it.
Yeah, the video streaming would have to be appealing. Where you're like, holy crap, I get to watch Mickey Mouse. But why would anyone want to do that? It almost has to be the NFL package. You almost have to have like the Big Ten network on there where you can watch live Big Ten games or something.
Because they're probably also not going to get into like what Amazon did with starting to generate new content.
Yeah.
So that's not likely to happen with Walmart. So
Yeah, they're going to be giving you, and I don't think Walmart's even going to be buying stuff. They're probably just going to say, "Hey, you get the stuff you normally get on these services." Boom, that's it. I mean, Walmart's not going to become a TV production studio. But did you hear the news this week? Big Ten Network, they're changing their TV deal. It's going to be only on Fox, NBC, and CBS.
where else is it now?
ESPN.
Oh, okay.
They're not going to be on ESPN for the first time in like 20 years. And if you don't have cable, that's kind of good news because they're all on regular TV. But they're going to have three national games. Like there's going to be a Fox game at noon. There's going to be a NBC game at no, CBS is going to take over the Big Ten. SEC is moving to ESPN, and that night there's going to be another national NBC game. College football is getting huge, man. Big
It's
business all over the place.
it's also very possible that the whole thing is jumping the shark.
Yeah. Oh, in terms of college football.
Yeah, like
Oh,
now that we've gotten into image likeness stuff, you got people jumping from school to school. The big corrupting element of cash money is now going to sort of wreck the environment around the game. So
well, and think about this: in 2 seasons, for every sport, not just football, USC and UCLA are going to be traveling across the country to play conference games. And again, this is every sport. This isn't just football. This is for volleyball or minor sports like that.
and
That's
the
crazy.
and the thing that you're not going to believe about that development is how much I don't care about it.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't mean to be that guy, but at the same time, so I
I'll I'll be honest with you, and
oh man, UCLA. Oh, well, that's mind blowing.
I'll be honest with you. College football has never been a well. I used to like college football a lot more. College football to me, the fact that I live and work in a media environment in Columbus with probably one of the more rabid college football teams, I care more because of that. If I was an industry where I wasn't covering college football or having to care, I wouldn't care as much about college as much. My daughter likes gymnastics, so I used to take her to a Ohio State gymnastics match. Not that I'm into college gymnastics, but just because my daughter loves it. But I would not be into college sports if it wasn't for me working at a media place that
Yeah.
is obsessed by it. So, yeah, it gets crazy. It's a little bit on the nutty side, to say the least. So, all right, so you're not buying. Man, you're sour tonight. No Walmart Plus for Joe,
No.
and no. Well, you'll probably still have HBO and Discovery, right? When it merges.
I would imagine that I would. So depending on if they're going to price me out, then that's the only thing there. Otherwise, I'm thrilled to add the Discovery Plus group of things, not for pimple poppers or you know,
Right.
uh, 90 Day Fiancés, but I do like some History Channel stuff and some Discovery Channel things.
Yeah.
Not the sellout stuff where you're like, why is this on the History Channel? Like I don't care much for that kind of stuff, but like the legitimate stuff. And of course, my wife's gonna love the fact of having access to HGTV, which
Yeah. I
will
mean,
drive me nuts because really, how many marble backsplashes can you put in on something before you're just like, you know what, these really aren't that attractive. And in 20 years, these are the houses that somebody else is going to be like, I can't believe they put marble backsplash in here. Why
my
is it so open concept? We should put up a wall.
my wife loves Discovery TV or Discovery Plus. I'm trying to get her to drop those because we get YouTube Premium. Have you heard about that? I used to
No.
hate YouTube Premium. YouTube Premium is kind of fun. It's $18 a month, but you
Oof.
get no ads on your YouTube at all. Period. You also get a YouTube Music service. So all these videos you have on YouTube, you can listen as much music as you want. It's a real nice. service. But the idea that you can watch YouTube videos without ad is just game changing. If I ever drop YouTube Premium, I may never watch YouTube again, because the more YouTube shows you watch, the more the ads come like every 10 seconds. It seems like. Yeah, YouTube Premium's nice. I used to think, why are we doing this? But no, it's actually pretty cool. So, all right. Well, speaking of pretty cool stuff, you might be like, man, $18 a month. Well, if you sign up for Cash App and you link your account to it, you're gonna get $5. You're $5 toward your first month of YouTube Premium, Joe. How about that?
There you go.
What a deal!
It's already paying for itself.
Yes, paying
Not
for itself.
actually, but metaphorically.
Yeah, you get 10 days of YouTube Premium. How about that? But no, it's a great way of just buying stuff at the store, or if you're out to eat. I mean, man, if Joe and I ever went out to eat, we're both too cheap. We're not going to pick up the bill for each other, so we're going to split this down in half. Well, Cash App, we can do it that way. When the past you weren't able to do it. Lots of great services for Cash App. Sign up. Link your account to it. It'll help you out. It'll help us out too. All right. Well, for Joe, this is Chris. Hopefully we'll see Paul sometime. But for us, have a great night, everybody.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Mooney. Welcome to what is our new Hope Interrupted podcast based on the work from our book, Hope Interrupted, that I co-authored with my good friend Byron McCauley.
Hey, Jennifer, I'm looking forward to this podcast as much as I was looking forward to writing this book with you. We hope to interview some high impact folks as well as have a little fun.
We're going to cover stories of hope. To learn more about our podcast and our book, please visit www.hopeinterrupted.com.